you've had these AI stocks, you've had announcements of major spending, you've had announcements of major corporate tie-ups between OpenAI and several of the other big names. But you're starting to see some cracks, at least in investor sentiment lately. I think the big one is Palantir. It dropped 8% the day after earnings were announced. On the surface, the report looked pretty good, beat expectation, raised guidance. However, it wasn't enough to push the stock higher. There's worries about valuation. The stock was sitting at a new high going into the earnings. Even with the recent drop, it's up 130% year to date. So it's had a major run up, and this response was not unique to Palantir. So AMD also had earnings that dropped 7% after its earnings, better than expected earnings, better expected guidance, same as Palantir. But you see in the response to those numbers, analysts looking ahead to 2026 and 2027. So there's an execution concern that's starting to get priced into stocks. So there was this feeling that nobody really bet that there'd be infinite growth in AI, but the growth that we are having is so pushed out in the future that we don't have to really worry about it now. And I think there's a point at which we're getting to valuation levels where investors are starting to realize that in order to justify these valuations, you're going to have to see strong execution, not just for this quarter, next quarter, but 4 quarters, 8 quarters in the future. And that's starting to build in a real concern that if there's a wobble, it's going to really prompt a decline. And you can see with the stock declines in the large AI players. So you see Nvidia down 9% over the past 5 days. You see Oracle down 10% in the last 5 days. And both these stocks are still up 40% and 43% respectively for the year, but you're seeing real willingness to sell when there's signs of weakness that does raise concerns